All right. So there we go. But no, what a pleasure. I mean, I'm so glad. I ended up interviewing your Dick Stockton, and then he gave me your email, and then that's why I shot you the email just to give it a shot. And I appreciate this. Uh, Stan Smith, you're on Tennis Volley Talk with me, Brian Danielson. So I appreciate
Great.
you being on here so much. Just is such a great
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be able to talk to you too. So
Great.
anyway, just kind of a little the realm of you having, I mean, you winning the 71 US Open and then 72 Wimbledon, with that winning those back in the day, you grew up in Pasadena, California, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So did you at the time when you were growing up, did you what were you kind of in the athlete part of it uh as far as being any kind of an athlete like basketball or something else or whatever, or what
Yeah,
kind of sparked your interest in tennis?
my first love was basketball,
Oh,
and
okay.
I played for my high school. And one of the big decisions I had to make was to actually quit basketball my senior year in high school, and about halfway through the season. And
Okay.
the coach allowed me to play tennis 2 days a week, and then on the weekends, and then I was behind the other players, and so he said, "Well, you could play another day." So I ended up really playing 3 days a week on the weekend, and then basketball was really the 2 games a week. So I was just playing the games, and it wasn't working out that great. And so I ended up quitting basketball. It was a big decision.
Okay. And then you kind of then started hitting tennis. Did you at that time kind of feel like you were well, you kind of had a knack for it, or did it just kind of come natural to you, or did you have to work at it?
I worked at it pretty hard. A group of parents in the Pasadena area formed the Pasadena Tennis Patrons, and they hired Pancho Segura to work with us on Saturdays at Pasadena High School.
Okay.
And they were kind of a beige tennis courts with hardwire nets. It was
Oh,
a public facility, but we got to work with him for 4 hours, and then at the end of the 4 hours, we actually taught the beginners from 12 to 1.
okay.
So we went from 8 to 12 and 12 to 1. And so they gave me some support, and the Southern California gave me some support. But the interesting thing about it was that I wasn't one of the better kids in the at the time in Southern California. But I had these four goals. One was to become a member of the U.S. Davis Cup team. Two was to be the number one player in the United States. Three was to win Wimbledon, and four was to become the number one player in the world. And that's what those are sort of my goals when I was a 16-year-old player in Southern California who was not really that good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I started out the same way. I started out about the time you were starting to go and you were in college. I was starting my tennis career about 68 or so, somewhere in that area, 68
Yeah.
to 70. I was starting out with a couple of my friends on the junior high school, one court, and then graduated into the old guys at the tennis court on a white cement court, yellow lines, wire fence for a net.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's what we had too.
and you learn to be in front of get the racket before the ball got to you. You learn to hit it out in front of you a lot quicker that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and with that too, as you went to college, I mean, you ended up and winning the NCAA for that those years with that and informed even doubles too. You ended up being a pretty good doubles player too, even in college and in singles too.
Yeah, I played with Bob Lutz my last 2 years in college. He was a year behind me, but we won the NCAAs those 2 years. And then I lost in the finals with Tom Edlifson, who was my partner in my sophomore year in college. And of course, we didn't play as a freshman because freshmen couldn't play varsity sports.
Oh, how dare them, huh?
So I just played 3 years in college, and I did play, that year as a freshman. I practiced, and Coach George Tolley was one of the best coaches in college, if not the best. And he helped me really develop my game while I was in college. It wasn't just winning and losing.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of where I kind of ended up, like forming my game through that. And then I myself, I've been playing for like 50 years. And now here I am in my third year of my tennis podcast. And it's just been a wonderful being able to get the people that I have and done the phone interviews. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a little nervous because this is my first Zoom call. So it is kind of
Ah,
it is kind of like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I was so nervous. I was like a nervous wreck today, waiting for this to happen.
well, it looks like you've got a few rackets behind you. Those are
Yes,
all wood rackets, huh?
yeah, they're all wood rackets. One of my oldest ones is March 8th, 1908. Is what it
Wow.
is. Yeah, what I do is I kind of also have a racket of the week where I kind of talk a little bit about the racket itself and the manufacturer. So you'll learn a little bit of history too, with what I do in that aspect of it too.
Right,
And so that's the
right.
fun part about it too, as far as that goes. Uh, so with that too, what I was kind of wondering too is along as you graduated from college and everything, you started then getting onto the pro tour and everything, and in like 72 you won Wimbledon in 72, but then also at a young age, because you couldn't be much more than what 20 mid, like early 20s at that time, but in 73 to have Adidas come in and ask you to sponsor a shoe, and that shoe is still lasting to this day.
Yeah, it's been a fun run with that shoe. They it's gone through different cycles along the way, and they at one point in 2011 they took it off the market and said they were going to bring it back. I wasn't too sure about that, but they did bring it back in a big way in 2014, and so it's been fun to see the progress that shoe's made over the years all around the world.
Oh, I'm sure it has, because it kind of reminds me of a bit of a story that your shoe was. And I used to I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I was in the uh, Tulsa Opera for a little bit, just as a extra supernumerary thing. But the one of the gals that was the stage production person that was kind of directing all of us, it was her birthday during that week that she was there, and me and a friend of mine noticed, and we kind of asked her about her shoes, and she had Stan Smith shoes on. So
Oh,
we got her
good.
a brand new pair of Stan Smith shoes for her birthday.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it was really great in that respect too, as far as that goes. But with that, as far as with being, and you've had such an experience to be able to play with the people that you've played with, like Dick Stockton, Brian Gottfried, and even playing in Davis Cup too. That must have been such a wonderful thing to be able to be one of the the anchors of Davis Cup, also playing in Davis Cup.
Well, one of my goals, as I said, was to win the Davis Cup. And in 1968, we really played as a team during that time. In 68 and 69, we traveled around the world playing tournaments, but we were part of the Davis Cup team. And so we went to Australia in 68 and we won the Davis Cup. And then we were able to defend it the next year and actually the next 4 years. And so it's been a big part of my life is playing Davis Cup and representing the country. It's like the Olympics, as we're today,
Mm-hmm.
we're watching the Olympics and we're seeing the players, the athletes representing the United States. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
special feeling to represent the United States, and the athletes have been feeling it too. They feel the pressure of playing in the Olympics, representing their country, and it's different than when you're playing regular tournaments or when they're skiing or doing World Cup events. They're not representing the United States directly, so it puts pressure on you. It also gives you a measure of pride knowing you're representing the United States, and you appreciate as you travel around the world how special we have it.
Oh gosh, yes. It kind of reminds me of a bit of a story, kind of a story that Tony Trabert had relayed to somebody at one time, that he was talking to a baseball captain of a baseball team at one time. So the captain asked him, "Where are you going to be headed off to?" And he goes, "Well, I'll be headed off to France, and after that I'll be in Wimbledon a little bit, and then I'll go back to then I'm going to be heading to Germany." And then the captain of the baseball team said, "Wait a minute, there's something wrong with this picture. I captain a baseball team, and my next three stops are Cincinnati, New York, and Minnesota.
Yeah.
So something wrong with that picture. You got it good."
Yeah, I had that conversation with a guy playing basketball for USC, and they were playing in Chicago, Detroit, and Indianapolis. When I was going to Paris, London, and all other areas of Australia and that sort of thing. So it's a different sport, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it definitely is with that too. Um, and then also with that too, I being that I remember seeing you too, because you were actually in Tulsa, Oklahoma at one time. You played the Bank of Oklahoma tennis tournament, and Jack Timer being the promoter of that tournament too. And I saw you, and actually you were playing doubles with Hank Pfister back,
Uh-huh.
and then you lost to actually Dick Stockton and Roscoe Tanner
Uh-huh.
during that tournament there. But yeah, this was that's kind of a picture of you and Hank there standing at the podium there. Uh,
No kidding.
yeah, so
We
that's
lost
really
in the
kind of,
finals?
huh?
Did we lose in the finals?
Yeah, you lost in the finals to Dick
Oh,
Stockton and Roscoe Tanner. But what do you remember about Tulsa or that Bank of Oklahoma tournament anyway?
I remember it was a little windy,
Yeah, of
but
course.
it was very hospitable. The people that took care of us there, it was a great crowd. People appreciated tennis, and they were knowledgeable about tennis, and it was fun.
Oh, it was, and especially with the stadium that they had there, because it was such a small stadium, and it was so personal for everybody to see. No matter where
Yeah.
you sat at, you could see very well on what was going on in the court. Also, and I was lucky enough, and I was fortunate enough to do an interview with Jack Timer too. So that was really a
Okay.
good interview. It was fun to do, very
Good.
fun to do with that also, and then. With that, it just all in all, with learning or having that tennis experience, and just uh, with just knowing that I myself also was able, because I was doing this podcast. I in 2024, I actually ended up going to see West Side Tennis Club in Forest Hills, where you won the 71 U.S. Open.
Yeah, that was a great stadium there, that Horseshoe Stadium at Forest Hills, and on the grass. And of course, they moved it to clay, and then later on, I think it's asphalt.
Yeah,
So it's made a transition over the years. But it was a great venue for us to play. We would walk from the clubhouse. It was a long walk all the way to the stadium to play in the big matches.
oh, it was. Yeah, it is a long walk.
Yeah, it's amazing that they could have had the U.S. Open in a club facility like that in the middle of a residential area. But
Yes.
all four of the majors actually were that way. In Kooyong, which
Hmm.
was where they played the Australian Open, it was also a residential area,
Oh, sure.
and the club was is still a very nice club, but it's a relatively small area compared to
Hmm.
where they're playing the Australian Open now. And
Sure.
of course, the French is also in a residential area,
Oh, yeah.
as well as Wimbledon. So
Yeah.
Wimbledon is trying to expand their area and build across the street on the golf course that they purchased, and to make it a little bit bigger area where they can have the qualifying on site. So
Hmm.
they're trying to catch up with the U.S. Open and the Australian Open as far as that 3 week event, and
Oh,
not
yeah.
just two
Yeah.
weeks, but having events qualifying as well as other events that first week of the tournament.
Oh yeah, well, and that's what really makes it nice too, with the that kind of the week of fan appreciation with any of the tournaments, and well, especially with the US Open, because I went to the fan appreciation week for the 2024, 2025, even last year. And what an experience and what a joy to be able to just see on those side courts there too, the players that are playing. And during, we caught the first day of the US Open of playing, and it's just amazing how those players are, in between the courts. You just got the big crowd and they're hustling, bustling, and talking, and those players are just concentrated and playing their tennis. Concentrating and playing, but it was still wonderful. I turned around and I got a picture with Pam Shriver, so that was a fun thing to do when I saw
Wow.
her.
Wow. Well, that first week, the qualifying is a great ticket because you don't have to buy, you don't have to pay to go in, and you can
Yes.
watch the qualifiers playing. And of course, this year they had that mixed doubles event, which you did have to pay for in the center court, but they really made that week a very festive time. And again, it's a great deal because you don't have to pay for it.
Oh, that is true. And that's what made it nice, because I kind of, this last year, I kind of got the realm of like when I flew into LaGuardia, and then I just took a little bus to the subway, took the 7, boom, right into Manhattan, and then spent I was at a little hostel, a YMCA hostel, right next to Central Park, and I got to go see Central Park tennis courts, which was really fun to go see too.
Oh, yeah, those are good courts.
Oh yeah,
Those are
they are.
very, very active. The people they get on the court when their hour is starting, and they get off the court at the minute that's finished, and the next group comes on. So
Yeah,
it's
I
a
know. They're just, people are just
busy
like
time.
hustle and bustle and busy is what it is. But it was still such a fun experience to be able to do that too, as far as that. And then so with that too, you, as far as uh, like what kind of experiences do you remember that were, well, of course, then you, with when you went to college also, did you like the end of it, the team aspect of it, going to college, and then kind of helped you with the Davis Cup when you were playing Davis Cup too?
Yes, that college experience is great. I have an academy here, and I usually give a talk to the kids that those 4 years are some of the most enjoyable years I've had playing tennis. Junior tennis sometimes is a bit of a grind, and it's an individual thing, and sometimes it's not so much fun. But then you go to college and you have this team that you're playing with, and you're playing for, and you win as a team and you lose as a team, and then you go into the pro game, and that's tough too. It's just individuals, and occasionally you get to play in a situation where you're playing Davis Cup or you're playing for the country and the Olympic team, or they have some other team matches that take place like the Labor Cup. But those team events are fun because you really do uh, get to spend some time with the other players that you're competing against, the rest of the year.
Mhm.
So it's a special opportunity to play for a team like that,
Oh, I'm
for a
sure.
tennis player.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Being kind of in that team atmosphere kind of gives you the build of not only, the realm of knowing your game, plus then having that team camaraderie to cheer you on also. Of course, then in singles it could be a little bit different, even though you're in college and having the team and on Davis Cup, but still on singles, you're still trying to figure things out with, how am I going to beat this opponent? What am I going to do? Am I going to slice the backhand, or am I going to come over the backhand? Or I'm going to serve and volley this particular shot?
Yeah, those are the decisions you're making out there, and it helps to have a captain that can give you some advice. Today, players have coaches that are actually coaching during the matches, and it's not what I would like to see in general. I like the whole idea of you trying to figure it out yourself. It's mano a mano,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have somebody to kind of rely upon when things aren't going well. But that's how the game has transitioned now, where you have the coaches right on the court, basically, and
Mm-hmm.
on your side of the court, you can get all the advice you want. Uh, and it takes away a little bit of the challenge of trying to figure it out yourself.
Yeah, trying to figure it out yourself. It does take away the challenge. So what do you think about Elena Rybakina winning the Australian Open. I mean, that was what a wonderful match that was.
Yeah, she played great in the finals. I've been following Jessie Pagula. Jessie was
Yep.
here for 7 years and in our academy. And so I followed her a lot. The last couple of years, I've been to a lot of the matches she's played at the four majors. And so
Mhm.
I got to see her play in Australia. She played Rybakina, and she had lost to her in 3 sets in the WTA finals. And she had set point in the second set. Rybakina hit a forehand that looked like it was going to go out, and it dropped in, and she ended up winning that second set to win the match. But Jessie was very close. But Rybakina just she's got the great serve
Oh, she
and
does.
fantastic backhand, and her forehand was going well that day.
Yeah.
And she was controlling the points, and she did that in the finals, even against Sabalenka,
Oh, sure.
because she just hits it big, and she's not the greatest mover in the world, but she controls the point and
Yeah.
doesn't have to move as much
Well,
sometimes.
that's true. But she used to be an ice skater, so she does kind of get that little glide going to get to
She
where
gets
she.
low for the
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
backhand and the forehand. She gets low, and
Mhm.
she hits it really well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then also, what was your experience like with being in WCT also? Because I actually happened, you were about, let's see, I saw WCT and I saw Borg and Vilas in the 76 final. And so you were a few years before that, but that what a tournament that was in such a nice auditorium as Moody Coliseum in Dallas.
Yeah, that was a great event for me. 73, I beat Laver and then also beat Arthur in the finals, and that was it was another. It was almost like a major at the time
Yeah.
because you had to beat most of the top players were involved in that circuit, which
Hmm.
ended, of course, in Dallas.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that was such a wonderful tournament. Then I turned around in '76 and I saw the late great Vitas Gerulaitis beat Eddie Dibbs,
Yeah,
and I tell you, he was such a pure good volleyer. Vitas was, uh, and he was turning into such a wonderful commentator too, because he knew
he
the
was.
game, but he made it interesting to you when he was explaining the game to you too.
Yeah, Vitas really was doing well, and it was just a tragedy that took place when he got in that. And he was in a little kind of a pool house where the gas was going, and he didn't know it, and he never knew what happened. But
Yeah,
he had really made it. He'd kind of turned the corner as far as his life, and he was
mhm.
doing a great job and enjoying doing the commentary as well as playing some.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I was actually fortunate enough to see him in an exhibition where he played against Ili Nasasi, and
Yeah.
and then the guest players were none other than Vince Van Patten, that was on the tour for 10 years, and also Dean Martin's son, that actually played tennis too,
Yeah,
and very well,
yeah, they
mind
were
you,
pretty good.
too.
They were
So
pretty good.
yeah, that
Yeah,
it
I lost
was.
to Vitas at the U.S. Open one time, one of my last years playing
Oh,
there.
okay, okay. Well, he was such a good pure serve and volley, and his volleys were so pure, and he just got down and had such a perfect looking volley when he played too,
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, it just is so amazing to have that, the aspect of having the tennis, having the trophies that you have. That is so wonderful. Seeing the Wimbledon plate, or I think it's a Wimbledon, but I'm not sure. But your trophies are
Well,
just
that's the Wimbledon trophy is the gold one there right in front of the plate. And then
okay,
to the right
okay,
of that is the U.S. Open trophy.
okay.
Those are replicas. And that plate was the plate that was given to us for the centenary of Wimbledon. And
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, those are just beautiful. I mean, I only have my little tiny trophy, little tiny trophies, runner up on,
well,
whatever. So,
well, that Wimbledon trophy is about a third of the size of the real one. In
okay.
fact, it looked like Roger Federer, after he'd won it a couple of times, he went to the club and he said, "I think that the replica you give us should be bigger than the one you're giving us." And so they changed it. They made it a little bit bigger. He won it a few times, and so he's got one of both all the sizes.
Oh, sure. And then, and also another thing too is that did you like playing on clay also whenever you played on clay? or was it more preferred that you played because you had the big game on the harder surface?
Yeah, I grew up on hard courts. I never played on clay till I was about 16, and that was only a couple times. And then, throughout the years, I never did as well at the French. I got to the quarterfinals a couple times, but a lot of the serve and volley players at the time struggled with that. Sampras and
Hmm.
Edberg and Becker and McEnroe and all the players that like to serve and volley never really won the French. And that was my case as well. But I enjoyed playing on the clay. That one year that I played my best was 72. We played those Davis Cup matches, all four of them outside the United States on red
Sure.
clay,
Sure.
and also the French. And so I played a lot on clay, and that helped a lot because the movement was so much different. You had to be able to learn to slide, and then you also had to be more patient.
Oh,
And
sure.
and that's where a guy like Borg and Nadal, these
Oh,
guys just
yeah.
they ran down every ball, and even a Federer couldn't really hurt Borg on that French
Oh, yeah.
clay because just he had to play take risk but not
Hmm.
make mistakes, and
Oh, yeah, that's true.
you can do
And
that for a set or two, but to do it for 3 sets, it was proven that not many players could do that against Nadal or Borg.
or that's true. That's so true. Yeah, yeah. And with that too, if you ever make it through Minneapolis, I don't know, but now Minneapolis has two actually green clay public tennis courts the public can play on. So which is really really a fun, and I played on them too, and it's really great. What a great surface, and they're really beautiful courts so too, nestled in a little park area, and public courts, anybody can use them, so
Wow.
that makes it fun. So yeah, if you ever make it to Minneapolis, you got some clay courts to play on then.
Yeah, maybe in the summertime.
Yeah, in the summertime, that's right, you don't want to shovel that all that snow off the courts there. But yeah, with that, as far as with that, it is really kind of nice to be able to have that aspect of during the summer to play on public clay tennis courts. But of course, then too, there is also that I might actually during with my podcast, I actually may be going to Texas this for kind of commemoration of the French Open coming. There's a guy in Mason, Texas, that actually built his own red clay tennis court. So I may end up there to commemorate the French Open starting and stuff. So
Right.
that'll be kind of an interesting little trip
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, that'll be fun, fun thing to do. But with that too, just wanted to thank you so much to give me some of your insight with your play and what you've done, and such a pleasure uh, being able to talk to you and see you and have this my first Zoom call with somebody so great as
Oh,
you
good. Good. Well,
and everything. And
you're natural.
well, I try to be, and so with that too, if you have my email, you have my phone, whatever, you can text or what. But if you happen to know any emails you can throw me, just let me know, and so I can kind of set something up, because just trying to grow my podcast for my in my third year. So coming up, going to be starting my fourth year, and just a little like another podcast. I'll be starting my fourth year.
Oh, good. You're doing it by phone normally, right?
Yeah, usually by phone. So this is something new to me, but I think it's going to work out
Yeah.
once I kind of get a little bit more used to it. I think this will start working out a little bit better with hopefully getting the people with, on screen with me.
Yeah. Good.
So,
Good.
Mr. Smith, I so appreciate you being with me on Tennis Volley Talk, and all of you YouTubers out there. I hope you like it. And also, just wanted to kind of make a little thing here. Is kind of in commemoration of you, because you kind of sponsored and was like signed on with a few tennis rackets, but this is one of your tennis rackets, Stan
Yeah.
Smith racket, Wilson.
Yeah. You got that on the rack behind you?
Yeah, I do. It's one of the ones
Good.
over there, but this is kind of your sponsor of your called the
Yeah.
Wilson American racket. Of course, this is a
Yeah.
little older one, with the color, the red scheme and the blue. but
Yeah.
it's a little bit older. I think it's probably right around about 60s or so, because I know that you or they came out, Wilson did come out with, and it's very good racket. Still, you could still probably hit with that too, a little bit, not hard, but a little bit
Yeah.
with that.
Good.
But, with that aspect, you had, they did come out a little later. The ones that you have used were the Stan Smith, the white one that was kind of
Yeah,
like
that's
Jack
the
Kramer frame.
signature. Yeah, the signature racket that
Mhm.
actually Tony Trabert had his name on it before mine, and then uh, it was a good racket.
Oh yeah, very good. I actually have one of yours that's the white one, and also a Jack Kramer, and I've hit with the Jack Kramer, and boy, does it hit pretty true too.
Yeah, that was a
It
good racket.
does. And also, Wilson itself, was founded in around about 1913. It was actually a meatpacking company at first because what they
That's right,
did,
and pharmaceutical as
yeah,
well.
pharmaceutical, and they made sutures and then also used the edible byproduct to make violin strings and the racket strings too,
Yeah,
back in the day. Uh,
yeah. Babolat did the same thing. They
oh
started
yeah,
out with
and it took two
strings.
two cows to make do a string of tennis racket back in the day. Is
Yeah,
what it took in a sense. So it's kind of a little thing like that. But with that under the leadership of Thomas Wilson, though, the company shifted the focus and it renamed the company Wilson in 1916. So that's where the Wilson Sporting Goods came about in 1916. With that. So, and in the 40s and 50s, they introduced the Jack Kramer autograph, of course, and that became
that's
their
right.
most famous racket that was kind of produced through them with Jack Kramer. So,
Right.
kind of a little history there of Wilson and showing you your racket that you sponsored.
Good.
So, I thank you so much again for
All right.
joining me on
Good luck
Tennis
to you.
Volley Talk. And
All righty.
and then shoot me anything that you have on anybody you might that might want to be on my podcast, and I appreciate it very much.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
you very much. You have a great day.
All righty. Bye bye.
Bye.